At this time, we're going to proceed with the award ceremony with Mr. Yusuf Salam giving out the presentations.
It's been a long week, a long evening, and long on love, as our big brother suggested. Let's give the whole week a round of applause. Thank you so much. Now it's time to identify individuals in our community that demonstrated the kind of human excellence that Big Brother talked about in his very brief remarks, and which Dr. Carson inspired us to move to heights. And we can only do that with excellent individuals making outstanding contribution to the collective life of our beloved self. And before we deal with the local folk, I'm going to ask the chief executives of both Selma city government as well as the county to come forward and give municipal commendations and county commendations to one of our special guests. And so at this time, city goes to go county because the city is actually the county seat of the county. Jimmy, that doesn't make no sense. That's the only way I can navigate out of that one. Come on up, Matt Perkins.
Good evening, everyone. I was trying to convince probate Judge Nunn to go first because when I arrived, Attorney Salam asked me to turn my 3-minute presentation into a 10-minute message.
Oh, wait a minute.
He said he wanted me to share some things about Selma. You did say that. It may take a moment to do that, but I do want to just acknowledge those of you who are present, to the foundation members, those of you who are doing this great work. I acknowledge you, to the clergy and to all of the public officials who were present, and to you, Mr. Salam, the one I refer to as Mr. NGO. He's a master of putting together non-government organizations. Let's give him a hand. We cannot stand up and mention the Honorable John Lewis and Jonathan Daniels' name without saying something about voting. And so I will just quickly say, rain, shine, hot or cold, let nothing keep you away from the polls. Selma, and I will be brief, Selma is really the second oldest community in our state because of its age. The infrastructure, the materials that are underneath our streets are extremely old. Some of our drainage systems are made of red brick, and they are still in use. In addition to that, we've had our share of challenging weather conditions, Hurricane Zeta, a deep freeze that nearly destroyed our water system December of 22, and then a tornado that significantly damaged or destroyed 40% of our residential properties. And then following that, we had another storm here recently. We've had our share of challenges, but still we rise. We will continue to do this work. I want to acknowledge something that most of you may not know, and I want to just acknowledge the Biden-Harris administration for the work that they have done in Selma. What has happened since the tornado? We have really convened, the president has really convened a group of his cabinet members here in Selma to redefine how this nation responds to natural disasters. I got to tell you that FEMA's response in Selma this time was immaculate. And so I acknowledge the federal government's response. I acknowledge those agencies that came in to assist us. I acknowledge USDA. I see Mr. Gordon here. Thank you for what you do. USDA and all of the federal agencies that came in to help us. In addition to that, I also acknowledge the collaborative effort that we have going on within the community. We focus on three major areas: housing, infrastructure, and economic development. In housing, I acknowledge NACA and the Housing Authority and the Auburn Rural Studios. NACA is building 100 homes in our community. 5 are already placed, 10 more are on the way between now and the end of next month. And we are going to continue to build houses, at least 100. Auburn Rural Studios scheduled to do 10 units. And so we are the Housing Authority. What we are doing with the Housing Authority, we've used our community development block grant money and we've shifted. We are now doing renovation of existing homes. We put 43 new roofs on homes in Ward 8. We have another 40 units that we're about to do renovations on as a consequence of what we're doing through that. Right now in Selma, we have approximately $42 million in active grants where we are actually doing the work that is necessary to rebuild our community, and another $100 million in the pipe that we are looking at to get this work done. And so don't let anybody fool you. We're getting some work done in Selma. And so I celebrate the work that we are doing. 59 city blocks has been funded for resurfacing all of our downtown streets. Our goal is to have those resurfaced between now and March. We are looking forward to replacing lead pipes in our community through the water board effort. And I see former First Lady Jenny Evans, who sits on the water board, $12 million to get rid of lead pipes in our community. We have HUD grants that are getting rid of lead in our homes. And so we have a lot of good things going on. The Choice Neighborhood Planning Grant, $500,000 from HUD. The only way you can get the development grant, which is $50 million, is you have to be awarded the planning grant. The planning grant has never gone to a community our size. It usually goes to metropolitans. Selma is the first and the only micropolitan community our size to ever get this choice grant. And so just know that we are well on our way. That next grant that we will be pursuing through the Housing Authority is a $50 million grant to do housing initiatives in our community. And so I celebrate what we are actually getting done, and I look forward to that continuous work. Mr. Salam, I've answered what you asked me to do, and I would. I was celebrating you, my brother. I was celebrating you. But just know that Selma, we are a resilient community. And if you don't know, because a lot of people really look at our community and began its focus on Selma in 1965. That's a mistake. You really have to go back to 1865 to truly understand the significance of this community. The last significant battle of the Civil War was fought here in Selma. The only battle recorded where Nathan Bedford Forrest lost as a Confederate general fought here in Selma. This community is the community. It was after that battle that the Emancipation Proclamation was actually implemented in this nation as a consequence of what took place here. So the first ground zero experience ushering in the rights of people to vote in this nation took place in April of 1865. And then when you fast forward 100 years to March of 1965, that was the second time. And so I just want to know that we are standing on holy ground. This is a place, a space where we really do deserve more from this nation. Selma has done more for the world than we could ever have done for ourselves. And so I'm excited about what is taking place, the resources that are coming into our community. We've earned it. Selma has been punished because of our contributions to this nation. And if you look at the interstate system, that can clearly give you an indication. 20 comes from California and stops at the Black Belt. Amen, somebody. 59 passes us, 65 passes us, 85 stops in Montgomery. 85% of economic development in this nation takes place within 5 miles of an interstate exchange. We have been systematically left out. And so I am trusting and hoping that this effort will actually work, that we will actually get this done, that this NGO, this effort, along with governmental support and the support of the people in the community, because it will take you, the people, to move the needle and to make this happen. And so now I'll do what he asked me to do the first time. Selma, would you come on up here, because I have something for you. Yeah. But I wanted to share those things with you because I have hope, cautious optimism, great hope for Selma. We are doing great things and we will continue to do that. And I say for all of the success that we have accomplished and all of the challenges and experiences that we've had, I say to God be the glory. Second, this is a piece I wanted to share this with you. It's not just a key to a building, but to keep our hearts. We want to celebrate your success, but just to keep an eye on us, hold us accountable, keep us firm on this mission. Thank you for what you do. Thank you again. Thank you.
Let's say good evening to everyone. I will be very brief, Attorney Selma, and to everyone that's here this evening. I had the opportunity at 12 today to give the proclamation to Stedman earlier, and had an opportunity to speak to Dr. Carson. And he did state that this is not his last time coming. He promised that he was going to come back to see about Selma, Dallas County, to everyone and to all the elected officials and to Neighborhood House Association. Yeah, that 110 years. I was talking about the money. I'm not quite asleep yet. But I know someone had mentioned 130 million. That's a lot of money for a nonprofit. The entire Dallas County budget is not but about 25 million, and then the city of Selma. But we appreciate your work that you do, Dr. Carson. You know, as I told Stedman earlier, Mr. Graham, earlier, that it's not all about the destination, but it's about the journey. And I think both of y'all have accomplished, well-deserved, but y'all have done a lot in your lifetime. That you have touched many, many, many lives. And you have done a lot of work to help a lot of people build nonprofits and build the work that you do. So we applaud you for the efforts that you do, and we just thank you. And I think the commissioners are here still, so we do want to recognize our commissioners if they are here. I see Commissioner Jan Justice, She's here and she got an award earlier today. Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Curtis Williams is here. Good to see you, Commissioner Williams, and Commissioner Rogers, and Commissioner Townsend. They're not here, but these are our commissioners for Dallas County, and they do a wonderful job. So, thank you all for coming and seeing about us.
It's been quite a night. I mean, chief executive of this city acknowledges Selma as a master of something. That's quite a night. Yeah. We try to keep this affair politically neutral, but not governmentally neutral. Obviously, if we're going to accomplish these goals, there must be a strong collaborative tie with public sector. It doesn't take an Einstein to understand that. But we do not want to embroil this work in the maze of difficulties that can come with Selma politics. So whatever we do is not rooted in any particular political inclination. For instance, our first award, we have a public official. We're not trying to award official for governmental work. We have a young man that as soon as Drano and I told us about our nonprofit work, tried to get some other nonprofit folks up in here. He encouraged us. He came on Zooms in his capacity as a private citizen. I have to say this because as soon as we give this award, the negativity that Mr. Graham talks about is going to kick in, and you're going to leave us saying that Salam endorsed somebody for this or that. No, we are rewarding excellence of a private citizen who on governmental time cared enough to support us, to work with us, to come on Zoom. Now we're going to also honor at this time the only governmental official because he is a rising star, a young rising star. And we just lost the giant. He took his place. If we don't appreciate James and I and Jimmy, we've been around this governmental game for a while, but not our rising star. And we want to support him because the senator from Dallas County can do wonders for what we plan to do in this black belt. And we want him to grow in wisdom and power. So at this time, in the private context, we're going to honor not the president of the council, but a private citizen who he kept telling me, Shalom, we got to have a private sector effort. We got to have a nonprofit effort. Coming to meetings telling us that. So at this time, our rising star, Senator Robert Stewart, and our private citizen, nonprofit supporter, Mr. Billy Young. Come on up. Gentlemen, for the sake of time, I'm going to try to keep the remarks. Certainly gratitude for the sensitivity, but beyond that, I don't know.
I would like to thank God and my mother. Thank you. But seriously, thank you, state representative, councilman, attorney, prosecutor, Yusuf Salam for this opportunity. I also want to thank Brother Drano, the Jonathan Daniels Community Development Corporation, Stedman, I hope I can get a picture with you. Thank you. And I just want to just share very briefly, on this anniversary of the March on Washington, Dr. King said that the three evils of society are racism, militarism, and poverty. This is a way, with our economic development efforts, to combat and overcome all three. And I'm here to be an advocate, a friend, and a servant. I represent Dallas, Lowndes, Perry, Wilcox, Clark, Monroe, Butler, Connecticut counties. If you're here, wave your hand. And so just want to acknowledge you and just say that it's an honor of a lifetime to serve you. And let's continue to have more good times. Thank you.
Thank you. Now don't you quit supporting us in private sector. William Benny.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, I know the food was great, because I'm full. But good evening, everybody. All right, that's how we're going to do it. First of all, thank God that all of us are together tonight. And from where I'm standing, everybody looks really good. So I believe all of us can agree on this. Let's just thank God with our hands that we are together tonight. My late mother taught me many lessons. But one of the best lessons that she ever taught me was say thank you. Because in this world, nobody has to do anything for you. So I say to my mentor, one of my mentors, someone that I consider my friend, and who has been a friend to not only Selma, Alabama, but a friend to the Black Belt, that is the Honorable Mr. Selma. Let's give him a round of applause. Mr. Selma has always been an inspiration to young people. I can remember being a young person. One day I was driving a Ford Escort, and I pulled up at the light, and then this dashing, noble man pulled up. I don't know, it might have been a Rolls Royce, I don't know. But he pulled up beside me, and he let his window down, and he said, young man, you got a flare and a glare. That inspired me that this important individual took the time to notice me. So I say to everybody in this room, notice young people. Because those young people, whether you know it or not, are watching you. They're going to imitate you. And let's make sure we show them the very best of ourselves. And I'm trying to be short and sweet like February, so just bear with me. To the individuals that are on our dais, I say the same thing that I say to everybody. Thank you. Because you could have concentrated your energy on any other place in this world, but you chose to concentrate your efforts here in Selma, Alabama. So Selma, Alabama, Marion, Alabama, Black Belt, let's thank them the way we're supposed to. Thank you. Now, the late Jonathan Daniels said, take each failure for an experience, because to be successful, you need experience. Ladies and gentlemen, we in the Black Belt have had many experiences. So let us take this opportunity to take those experiences and make this the successful place it should be. We live in a place that is blessed. We've had storms come through here and not any loss of life. That's something to be thankful for. So let's take what God has given us and make the best. And before I take my seat, Big Brother, and I hope I can call you Big Brother as well, not just because of the height, but Big Brother, you talked about Mahatma Gandhi. You talked about some other things about how we should serve. And I can remember another quote from the great late Mahatma Gandhi. Service. In order for you to know yourself, you must serve. I know who I am. I am here to serve. And I will say this, not I, we are here to serve. Thank you, everyone. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless the Black Belt.
Billy Young, I don't know whether he stayed private sector alone. He might have politicked a little bit. I don't know. But he's a dynamic rising star too in his own right. Big brother, in essence, told me, don't fall for the silly fallacy of race. That's what he told me. We said, you know how we play this old black and white thing in Selma? He said, don't go that route. And then prior to that, I started thinking that if we don't go that route and turn to race, there's nothing wrong with us racing to the bank with economic wealth in this black belt. And in order to do that, we got to involve the excellence of every single Dallas County. If they have some excellence to bear, then we must avail ourselves of it. Having said that, administrator of the year, I saw him out at that hospital, a tough nut to crack. And he's keeping it going. And he's a top-notch administrator. And we hope that he's here for years to come. Come on up, our administrator of the year, the Honorable David McCormick.
I'm not honorable, I'll tell you that. But the only way this place is going to get better is if everybody wants to get better. And I see all these folks in here trying to do that. We've had several meetings. Now we're going to have to start taking steps to really push it forward. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for wanting to make it better for the young kids in here. God bless.
Well, if he rejects Honorable, everybody who was appointed to our next award, we would have to admit, was truly an honorable gentleman. Very dedicated. He works for a governmental agency. And he's very, very effective. And we had the privilege of having his blood brother to become one of the top facilitators in this black belt development, John Robert Lewis black belt development process. He also happens to be his brother, mayor of a little town called Yellow Bluff, Alabama. And medium-sized brother here, right up on the big brother, Dr. Carson, we were sitting on the stage together and we were all blown away. Blown away. And the other big brother, CEO, the organization he had to lead, Brother Johnson, as well. Before I bring up the honoree, I'm going to ask his brother, who is a leader within his own right, to just stand. Matt Gordon out of Yellow Bluff, Alabama. Let's give him some love. Let's give him some love. So y'all be able to guess where our next awardee. A gentleman, he does not have no, which he should have in his vocabulary. If you call on him, he's ready to serve. The most effective governmental agency leader in the Southeast maybe the nation, the Honorable Nyvary Gordon. Come on up, my brother.
I'm honored to receive this award, but this award is for all the people on this platform and all the people in this audience. I prayed for this type of engagement for the last 38 years that I've served in the USDA. I'm a native of the Black Belt. I'm a born son, and I've seen the struggle. But I can tell you this, tonight's meeting has given me hope. Thank you for this award, and God continue to bless each of you.
Jonathan Daniels, Community Development Corporation was started in 1998. 5 Selma, the late Councilman MacArthur Williams, the late Councilman Jim Dury, who was the old late President Pro Tem of the Selma City Council, Bill King, and the only other 2 living now are myself and our next honoree. We made a trip to Sandtown, Winchester, in Baltimore. I was going through City Hall, I saw this pamphlet, and they were doing it up in Sandtown. And I called the organizer, I said, make room for a Selma delegation, we coming up. And when we went up, we met with the president of Enterprise Foundation. At the time, dynamic brother out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Ray Ramsey. But this particular brother was very key in helping us organize to create a massive nationwide network in the first round of our work. I'm referring to the original incorporator, an original operator, and original manipulator of forces that helped bring the Jonathan Daniels CDC into being, a pioneer of sorts, Mr. Lawrence Wolford. Mr. Lawrence Wolford. I asked him, are you going to get your ego out the way, brother, and come on back in this process and contribute? He said, I'm ready, brother.
Thank you, Attorney Salon, for those words. Thank all of you for your presence, for all that you have done to make this night a night that we want soon. This award is deeply appreciated. I thank Attorney Salon and those of the committee who decided to present it. And what I would say as I soon go to my seat is that too often we choose simply not to remember people who have made significant contributions to the city. I say that because not about me, but I say it because I see something. And I see us diminishing people who we know or who we should know would not be, we would not be where we are if it had not been for things that they did. I am presently serving as the president of NAACP, and it burns me to no end when we call the courageous of foot soldiers. When we reduce them to foot soldiers, they were not foot soldiers. They were the architects of the modern day civil rights, of voting rights act. And we need to give them credit and honor that they do. We should do this to all of us. I remember reading as a child, and I'll go to my seat. I don't know if any of you in here know who Pat Blaylock was. Probably most of you have never heard of him. But Pat Blaylock was a white female who headed the library in 1965. Pat Blaylock was a gadfly in her day. The people in power told her that black folk couldn't come into the library over at what's now the Chamber of Commerce. But she said, anybody who wants to can come in the library. And they took the seats out of the library so nobody could sit down. If you think I'm joking, there's a book about Miss Blaylock that you can read if you will. I would say, again, as I go to my seat, think about the kind of venom that she had to deal with when she went back to her. So it's never been easy. It's never easy for any of us who are gadflies and who lead and take these positions that are counter to a lot of the stuff that goes on. But here's what I know. At the end of the day, God has his own way of rewarding his own. So God bless you.
We have saved the best for last. Why do we say that? Because we talk about what happened in the 60s. Very few of us was in the heart of the struggle. Very few of us soldiered with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Very few of us soldiered with the late Dr. Ralph Abernathy, former ambassador to the UN, Andrew Young, talk about them as if they were his bosom buddies. But more importantly, he did not quit the struggle. He did not quit the struggle after the 60s. He did not quit the struggle. He stayed in the struggle. When I met him, he was still in the struggle. And before I bring him up, let me acknowledge one of his close friends. He worked with his close friend, son Byron. And our first leader before Dr. Jefferson, before Jackie, before Dr. Wilkins, became our facilitators. We had one facilitator, and that was the late Mayor George Evans. And I'm going to ask, because before he passed, he recorded a message at one of our meetings at Trustmark. And he instructed everybody there. He said, support Brother Salam in what they're trying to do. How many heard our late Mayor George Evans make that statement? Yes, he did. And let's have a moment of silence in his honor. And also I'm here to plug his book. It's controversial language, but it's his new book. Selma's Man. Now some may debate that, but our late friend, our initiating catalyst as chief executive leader to the John Robert Lewis Black Belt development process, he wrote this book. And we honor him and we recommend, I'm gonna put a plug in it, that you purchase his book, Selma's Man, Lessons Learned, Queen City, and Native Son. The late Honorable Mayor George Evans, the friend of our next honoree, a bona fide civil rights pioneer from way back, talking about way back, my friend, my hero, my inspiration, a civil rights fighter, par excellence. Come on up, JT, you the man, JT Johnson.
I don't get a lot of awards. I do the work that, I'm from Albany, Georgia. I live in Atlanta. I've been living there since the early 60s. But I lived in New York, Harlem, 1957, 58, 59, and the early 60s. But in Albany, I saw something was happening down there. They was sharing some of my friends around. And I decided to pack my bags and go home. That's when I joined the Civil Rights in 1962. I met Martin Luther King and Ralph Abernathy in Albany. I made a commitment that I would be a part of this movement until I die. Because we have to, this is a commitment. You know, I've been writing all day and listening to some very good things, but some of the things, one of the first steps in the nonviolent movement is gathering information. And that's what we do. Dr. King said to us that we must go back to those cities that we worked in and see what has happened to the folk that was there when we was there. So I came back to Selma for the 50th anniversary, and it hurt me to my heart a little bit to see Selma going through some of the struggles that we're going through. So when I went back home to Atlanta, I decided I was going to come back to Selma to see if I could give any help. And we put together a pretty good team of people to try to come here and do some work. And we got some things started. And the thing is that Matt Burgers have announced all the good things he's doing now. And that's what we wanted to see. So we don't come to, I was in Memphis in 1964 when Dr. King got us, but I wasn't there when he was assassinated. We had a meeting in New York City. I was in Washington, D.C. planning for the Poor People's Campaign and got a call from him to meet them in New York at the New York Hilton. Well, he had just been in Memphis and they had a riot out there. They ushered him to his car, so he was safe. But the phone just rang and rang and rang. So we didn't answer. So finally he asked Bernard Lee to travel with him to answer the phone. And it was Ben Hooks, who was on our board of directors that lived in Memphis. and said to Dr. King he had to come back. Well, now there go the podium staff at it. Because he made a decision in that meeting that he was going back to Memphis. So Jose Williams and James Bells and myself, we took a plane and went into Memphis on the first day. But we checked into a hotel on the downside of town. Everywhere we turned around, the press had us, and we were on the press all day, every day. They followed us around. So I kind of figured to Jose, I said, look, we can set up like here. Something's going on. We couldn't figure it out. So we finally moved up to the Lorraine Motel, and we checked in there. Dr. King came out on the 2nd. So on the 3rd, he wasn't feeling very well, and he asked Ralph Abernathy to go over to Fairmont Temple and make a speech for him. So when Dr. Abernathy walked into the church, he said, well, these people don't want to see me. They want to see Martin. So we had to go back and get him. He preached the mountaintop. That next day, my job was to go to Marks, Mississippi, and move the whole town to Washington, D.C. So I left there at 3:30 on my way to Marks and stopped at a service station. And this gentleman asked me, had I heard the news? I asked him, what news was he talking? He said, well, they just killed Martin Luther King Jr. So I said, I didn't know what to do. I said, well, I'm going to turn this car around. We're going back to Memphis, but we couldn't get nowhere near Memphis. So we really did have to spend the night in Marks. But we went on with the Poor People's Campaign, and in D.C., we'd all together there. And there was a riot broke out in Detroit with some people who was on their way to Washington for the Poor People's Campaign. So Reverend C.L. Franklin called and asked us, Dr. Abernathy, would he come out there? And Ralph asked me to go with him. From that day on, I traveled with Dr. Abernathy 5 years all over this country and parts of the world. We traveled 1 million miles in the 1960s on Eastern Airlines. So I've seen a lot of things, but Selma, Alabama has always been, there's some special places in our country. Atlanta, Georgia is one of them. It's Martin Luther King's hometown. Everywhere I go, I say it's a special place. Selma, Alabama is a very special place. Everywhere I go, I talk about that too. You see, something happens to me because they sent me to Montgomery to prepare Montgomery for the march from Selma to Montgomery. So I wasn't on the I wasn't on the bridge. I was in Montgomery. We found out the southern half over here, and we rushed back over here with 4 or 5 of us was in Montgomery because it said that Jose Williams had killed him over here. We didn't want to believe that. So it didn't happen. But we come to Selma. I'm committed to Selma. I am. And whatever I can do, I'll do it. And I am going to short distance. It's 3 hours from here now. So I would come at any time for anything that is going to make Selma a better place. And the thing I have to say to people in Selma, everywhere you go at any time you open your mouth, you need to say that I'm from Selma, Alabama, but they're very special. We have a young man in Atlanta, Andre Dickens. And I told him the same thing. I said, don't you open your mouth unless you say Atlanta is a very special place. And the reason it's special is Dr. King's hometown. Benjamin May said one thing that black people feel was aiming too low. So we don't aim low. We are aiming high in Selma. We are aiming high in Atlanta. And we're doing things all over the country. We're doing $75 million worth of construction in Atlanta right now. And I said in the next 5 years, it'll be 200 million. So what we do is train young people in the construction business. Try to get them, especially young women, into program management. Georgia Tech have a good program for that. But we have to train our students. I have a foundation that I listen to young people. The middle school and high school, we invite them to Ralph Abernathy at the old church on a Saturday morning, and we sit there and listen to everything they have to say. They got some things to say, and they say them. They'll tell you if you listen. But you have to listen to them. They're our future. Whether we know it or not, I have a few granddaughters, all women in my family. I have 3 daughters and 4 granddaughters. So I said, I don't have a chance, you know. I stay broke for what day I tell you. So, because they all want something. I have two of them. One is the Banner State, the other is the Dennis State. One is the City Hall, and one is in the Army. Jesus, yeah, you know, I don't know what to do. But anyway, I'm just happy to have this award. I would cherish it. I love Selma, and I like to be a part of whatever's going on. So thank you very much.
I think the mayor called on the people. All of you are special, whether you receive an award or not. We're going to have to pull together as one community, pooling our resources. Now, I'm going to say this. You notice Temple Drain did not get an award. Notice Salon didn't get an award. Our position is that we're doing this work, and here, Speaker's Treasurer, I'm doing this work for you, brother. I'm doing this work for paradise, forgiveness, and a great reward. He means it. Never makes a dime. If it anyone deserves an award, it's Drano. And I just wanted to acknowledge him. But it's time to go. We had a great evening. But it's good to repeat. Talking about stuff can repeat. We got to repeat our thanks for our San Diego delegation and for Big Brother taking the time. Y'all stand up, stand up. Thanks for coming, everybody. We're going to ask Bishop Bonner to come up, give us proper benediction. This is not a one-night wonder. We'll be continuing this process, so you look out for our efforts. Come on up, Bishop Bonner. Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much.
Can we have a word of prayer as we prepare for the benediction? Father, we come now again. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for the presence of all these new minds and old minds. We thank you for the unity of the program that has been put together, Lord God, for the betterment of Selma. Of Selma, dear to our hearts, Lord, we ask that you would move mightily in this realm, in the city, hearts of official leaders, Lord. We pray that you would give them new ideas and new mindsets. And everything that's been done here tonight, we ask you to seal it in their hearts, Lord. We might abide in it. That we might see the produce and the benefits of it, Lord God. Pray that these things will come to pass in Jesus' mighty name. Now may the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one of another. Amen.